Alright, so today's video is going to be my top 5 ways I find it easier to carry a large frame gun. Now this video is kind of prompted by the fact that I was at the range the other day, and the guy shooting next to me was cool, and he made a comment how he didn't understand how people used to carry big heavy 1911s and revolvers. Which I kind of chuckled, because that's pretty much all I carry is my 1911 and my revolver as a primary, and then usually I carry a small backup. So we got into a neat discussion about it, and it gave me the idea to do this video because I know a lot of people that have had trouble over the years that I've met trying to carry a larger gun, so I figured I'd try and make this video helping them out. Before I get into the video, I wanted to proudly announce I'm now affiliated with Forged from Freedom. Now, for those who don't know, and I know a lot of my viewers probably do, but Forged from Freedom is an American company that produces a lot of Second Amendment related apparel, such as this sweatshirt, and they produce apparel for a lot of different gun channels. They produce stuff for gun websites, Yankee Marshal, Military Arms Channel, and so on and so on. A lot of cool designs, a lot of stuff you could check out. So if you're interested, there is a link down in the description that will take you straight to their website, and that link does actually help out my channel, which is great because with YouTube demonetizing basically everything I put out, and the fact that I'm still a little bit smaller with their new guidelines, I get nothing for the videos, so every little bit does help and fund more range trips and testing and all that. So with that, let's get to the video. Alright, so we're going to start with the base of carrying any gun on your belt, and that is obviously the belt. So here I have 3 belts, and they're going to be categorized as bad, good, better. So first we'll start with bad. Now this is a cheap Walmart belt. This is probably $10, $15 belt, whatever. Cheap Walmart leather, probably not even real leather. And the buckle is very cheap. As you can see, the finish is wearing off. And it will eventually break, and I'll have to go buy another $10 to $15 Walmart belt. And so on and so on. Good for only holding up your pants, in my opinion. As a carry belt, it's terrible. See how flexible and twisty and bendy, and you can take it and ball it up into a big ball like this. You don't want that in your belt, because that's what your gun is basically trying to do to your belt. So you want a good strong belt, not this. So this is definitely worst. Then you get to better. This is a leather gun belt. Now this is not reinforced, but this is a local made, Amish made belt. And this is a good sturdy belt. As you can see, I can show for comparison, the leather is much thicker. 2 to 3 times thicker than the Walmart belt. It's a good sturdy belt. Good strong latch on it, really good. Still has traditional belt loops, but really good belt for if you're just looking for something without spending a ton of money on a belt. And I know sometimes it can be hard to spend a lot of money on a belt. Now we're going to get into the best. This is probably your best option. A belt like this, or the same style, doesn't have to be this particular one. This is a Core Essentials trackline belt. Now what makes this belt really nice is this is reinforced. There's actually a strip of reinforcing material running along the length of the belt, making it that you can't even squeeze this in half. Unlike something like this that you can fold over multiple times, no problem. This is a good solid belt. Also, you can't really bend it. Like I'm trying to bend it, and it won't do it. It won't bend in half. Whereas something like this, where you can just do it. So, yes, that fell on the floor. We're going to leave that there. But this is your best option. The nice thing about a belt like this, on top of being reinforced, is the trackline system, which there are other belts using the same basic concept, but micro adjustments, meaning that when you're carrying a big gun, a lot of times as you're walking around you might want to adjust. These are 1/4 inch adjustments. You can fine tune in how tight or loose you want the belt to be, whereas with something like this you're using traditional belt loops. So that's number 5. So for number 4 we have use a good holster. Now, for some people this is very obvious and others it's not. I have seen a lot of people try and carry larger frame guns and not be able to do it because they go to Walmart after they buy their few $100 gun and they buy a $10 holster. And when you buy a $10 Universal Uncle Mike's holster from Walmart, you're going to get $10 quality. Now I'm all for being frugal, but both of these holsters are DeSantis and they were anywhere from $40 to $60, and I've had this one for many years now, still going strong and still plan on using it many more years. And this one I've had all summer, same thing. It holds up great. A good quality holster will pretty much last you the life of the gun, especially if you take care of it. I do not recommend getting a nylon holster or anything like that. If you want a good holster, Kydex or leather are pretty much your only two options. Maybe someday we'll have a new fancy technology out there that'll produce something better, but for the current world, I recommend either a Kydex or a leather holster and nothing else. And make sure to get something that fits your specific gun. The problem with universal holsters is, and I'll actually show with the 1911, is when I put this in its holster, okay, it fits in real great, and when I put the thumb snap in, cock the hammer there, but when I put the thumb snap over, you notice there's no wiggle, okay? It doesn't move inside the holster. It doesn't move, it doesn't rattle. When your gun sits in a universal holster that's meant to be for a wide variety of guns, you're going to get movement. And when you get movement, it's going to shift on your belt. It's going to cause more pain and discomfort as you're carrying it. You're not going to want to carry it. So getting a decent holster that fits your specific gun is very important. But that's number 4, is take the time to select a good holster. Now for number 3, this is kind of a personal preference thing, but I found it to be pretty universally accepted as right. Try carrying outside the waistband. I know a lot of people try and carry inside the waistband nowadays because it's a little easier to conceal. But when it comes to carrying bigger guns, that might be easier said than done, especially when you're carrying a revolver. While obviously the barrel and everything is pretty slim, you've got to conceal the cylinder inside your waistband, which that cylinder, and this is only an L frame, can be quite wide. I mean, that's comparing that to a 1911. As you can see, I don't know how well it shows up, but you're dealing with probably another half the thickness of a 1911. So it can be a lot to conceal inside your waistband. I've even heard of some people trying to go a pant size larger when they're carrying to conceal their gun, but that brings in its own set of problems, such as, well, now you've got 2 different size pants you've got to worry about, plus, say, for whatever reason you change pant size, now you've got to go out and get another 2 different size pair of pants. And plus, if for whatever reason you're taking your gun off, maybe you have to go into the post office or whatever and you're taking your gun off, now your pants aren't going to fit right. So I found outside the waistband carry to be much easier for carrying larger guns and is my primary belt method for belt carry. So that's just number 3, is try outside the waistband if you're not already doing it. Alright, so for number 2, now you'll notice I've got a pair of pants sitting here. Now before you freak out, this is not the pair of pants I was currently wearing, or maybe it was, the world may never know. But what I wanted to talk about is the positioning of the holster in relation to your pants and belt loops and everything. Now, a lot of people like to carry either about 3 o'clock, maybe somewhere between 3 and 5 o'clock. I usually carry about 4 o'clock, give or take. And you'll notice a lot of people, they'll as they're putting on their belt, and I'll show over here for now, is what they'll do is they will go through a belt loop, put the holster on the belt, and then continue to feed it through belt loops. what happens is when you do that, you've got a belt loop here and a belt loop here, and your holster here, and the holster is going to pull on your belt in between the belt loops. And while having a really good belt is going to eliminate a lot of that, you're still going to have some discomfort, because most of your discomfort when carrying a gun comes from the gun sagging down on your belt and applying pressure. So one thing I've found that I've done over the years is I will actually start by, I will go through a belt loop, I will put one side of the holster on, I will then go through another belt loop, and then put the other side of the holster on. So basically it looks something like this. Now you've still got a belt loop here and a belt loop here, but now the holster's riding on another belt loop, which is going to mean that the pants are going to help support the holster along with the belt. So you've kind of got a whole system going here now, where you've got a good holster supporting the gun, you've got a good belt supporting the holster, and you've got your pants now doing the best job they can supporting everything all together. So that's a tip I've found has worked. I know other people do that, but I figured I would put that in there, and maybe that gives somebody an idea of something they could do. So that's number 2. So here we are for my number 1 tip. Now you'll notice I put my pants back on, just kidding, but my number 1 tip is get a larger shirt. Now I am traditionally a large size shirt, but I usually buy an extra large or a large long. Reason being because, well, first of all, your modern shirts usually shrink no matter what you do, but by having a longer shirt, it makes it a lot easier to not have to worry about your gun showing. I've noticed with a lot of people when they carry any kind of gun on their belt, their main worry is printing or the gun riding up on the shirt, stuff like that. So I purposely go and get a size larger or get a large long or an extra large, and wear that and save those shirts for specifically if I'm carrying. But that's my number 1 tip, because that makes it so much easier, because you've got a little bit longer shirt. And no, I'm not talking about going so long that you look like you're out of some rap video, but I'm saying go, one size up or get the long version of the shirt, and then you can not have to worry about the shirt riding up on your gun or the bottom of your holster being exposed. So that's my top 5 tips for carrying a large gun on your belt. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them, and have a good day.